Welcome. You are about to take a journey to a place of the divine love within with Deborah Beauvais on the Love by Intuition show. For the next hour, allow her to prepare you in becoming a magnet for a profound love-infused relationship by identifying and focusing on solutions through love. Awaken the light within and let your essence shine. And now, here's Deborah Beauvais on Love by Intuition, all part of the Dream Vision 7 radio network.
Welcome, everyone. Bonjour, mes amis. And yes, here I am, founder and owner of the Dream Vision 7 radio network. And if you're tuning in for the first time, we are a Boston-based syndicated holistic internet radio station with all the bells and whistles. We are a full producing radio station for those out there that usually it isn't like that for a internet station, but we have the software and we have the know-how, and so here we are. And if those that may not be aware, we also are connected to, all the shows are heard on whatever podcast directory that you have. There's about 50, 55 of them, and it just keeps growing. So we're everywhere. Well, we have an amazing guest. This is a live show, by the way, and Bob is in the house, 833-220-1200. Again, 833-220-1200. My special guest is Lora Cheadle, and she is an amazing woman. Naturally, I would say that she's amazing regardless, but she also has a phenomenal radio show right on Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. It's every Wednesday, 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and the name of it is Flaunt, Find Your Sparkle and Create the Life You Love After Infidelity or Betrayal. And that's the subject that we're going to be talking about. So anyone out there that is experiencing this or has in the past and wants to call in and talk with Lora or ask her a question, we welcome her. You. After 23 years of what Lora thought was a good marriage, she was devastated to learn of her husband's 23 years worth of infidelity with multiple women. But something inside told her that she was not done. Even though it made no sense, the still small voice inside told her that there was something more to the story. And this was her watershed moment when she was finally going to have her life click into place. She is an author, best-selling author, a former attorney. She does coaching now for women empowerment. And we'll be talking more about that as we go in and out of the break. But without further ado, Lora, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm really thrilled to be here.
Yes, and I love to hear your journey on radio, and I'm honored that you're here because of your own journey. However, by sharing your insight, we're certainly helping others, whether it's live today or when the show is heard again and again, or during, when it's archived. So I thank you for being, first I have to say, you're brave. Number one. Second of all, just to let the listeners know, Lora has done 3 episodes with her husband. A very frank conversation with the two of them. Actually, Laura's interviewing Sean. So don't miss that. Check it out. Go on dreamvision7radio.com and just look for Flaunt, and you will see that those shows are in the midst. I think we've done 2. The third one is coming. The first thing I want to ask you is that was devastation for sure. How did you recover? And what was the first thing, where did you turn at the beginning? What did you think? And I'm sure it disrupted your self-worth and your self-esteem.
Oh, yeah. To be perfectly honest, at the beginning, I would like to say, I just handled it so gracefully right away. not the case. Something like that is such a shock. It literally feels like being punched in the gut, being stabbed in the back, because I had no inclination that anything like this was going on. So when I first found out about it, it was such a shock. My body physically crumbled. I literally fell to the floor because I couldn't process everything. I couldn't handle it. And, for those first few weeks, the focus was on surviving. It was on breathing and eating and figuring out how to get my kids to and from school. It was a strange time, and interspersed with those moments of, I can't even get my head around this, I don't understand what's happening. Then sometimes I would have like this big burst of energy, and I would start Googling things and listening to podcasts and trying to figure it all out. And then I would crumble again and just have to lay on the floor and sob. And then I'd have another burst of energy, and I'd, try to figure it out and put some pieces together and dig through emails, and then I would crumble and fall again. So those first few weeks, for any kind of tragedy, for anybody going through anything, they're messy and they're awful. And if you can just breathe and eat and maybe even get some sleep, that's truly all that you can do. And that's okay.
Yeah. As far as the marriage itself, it was a good marriage from what you share. And you're a beautiful woman, in and out, but you're gorgeous. And so you must say, well, is it that? Is it, why did this happen? And I'm sure those thoughts were happening right away.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, that was the thing, is when I first found out, I internalized it all. How could you do this to me? What's wrong with me? Why am I not good enough? Why am I not pretty enough? Why am I not a good enough mom? Why am I not a good enough homemaker? What's wrong with me? Because, yes, we did have a good relationship. I mean, we had fights, we've had disagreements, we have, impasses. It's a normal 23-year-old marriage. There's problems with finances, there's problems with in-laws, but nothing huge. I never contemplated divorce. I never, you know what I mean? It's like, sure, there's some downtimes, but we had so much fun together, and we were really good friends and really good partners, and we wanted the same things out of life. And I thought we had a really good marriage. And yes, I couldn't figure out what I had done wrong. And it took me a while to figure out it isn't anything that I did wrong. Right. When somebody cheats, when somebody cheats on you, something is wrong with them inside. It's not about you. And, I still will struggle with that sometimes. I'll still think, well, what did I do wrong? And then it's like, you catch yourself and you're like, no. This wasn't about me. This was about him. This wasn't about me. I don't have to be perfect. Relationships aren't perfect. People aren't perfect. I didn't do anything wrong here. I didn't cause this problem.
Right. But now the hamster wheel is going and going in your mind, especially probably the first couple of years. How did you turn that off or control it? Because that could drive you to another galaxy.
Oh my gosh, it does. It really does. And before I answer that, I'm just going to loop back. When my husband, initially he left. I started finding out about this, and he left because it was like, no. And then we kept talking. because I kept having questions and it kept not making sense. And I kept feeling like the story isn't done. I have to figure this out. The story isn't done. I have to figure this out. How can this be? And as we continued to talk, and as I continued to learn about the other women, I don't know if this was better or worse, but none of the other women, and I don't want to sound judgmental saying this, but I've said it before, none of them were as educated as I was. None of them truly were as fit or as in shape or as healthy as I was. And it was like, if you're going to cheat, aren't you going to cheat up? Aren't you going to cheat with, like, the most beautiful woman in the world? Like, are you kidding me? You cheated with somebody who outweighs me by 300 pounds? Why? Why would you do that when you have me? That didn't make sense. And in a way, that was worse for me because I kept thinking, if that's better, how low must I be? Because I would look at these other women and I'd think, I would think I'm at least as good as that. I would think I'm better than that. And wow, how low must I be? So that was a real mind warp for me, real mind warp. And how I struggle with that or how I deal with those obsessive thoughts. A couple of different things, because it is a hamster wheel. You think about it and you're like, it makes no sense, it makes no sense, it makes no sense. How you deal with it, first of all, is I continue to build myself up. You mentioned that I'm a former attorney. And when you think about being an attorney, I think about the scales of justice. And, scales, when you've been knocked down, you need to build yourself back up again. And you can do that by cutting the other person down until it makes you even. And you know what? I've done that, and that's okay. But in the long run, I don't want my life to be focused on cutting other people down. I want my life to be focused on building me up. So, yes, I cut down the other people in my mind. Not proud of it, but I did. But my main focus became on building myself up. Now is my chance to finally look within and take care of all of those things that I never took care of. Now is the time to really focus on me, to make myself happy, to put, myself back on my own to-do list, to figure out what I want and to not expect somebody else to give it to me, but to create my own happiness my way and to really step up, grow up, take charge of myself and my own happiness. And I have done that since Discovery Day, D-Day as they call it, and that's how I combat all of those negative thoughts and that loss of self-esteem and self-worth, by constantly refocusing the conversation to me and my growth and my development and what brings me joy.
That was very wise of you to do that. Not everyone would know to go within, but all the answers that we search for are certainly within us. Did you, when you were going within, well, let me ask you this. When you felt that nudge at the beginning that you weren't completed yet with Sean, that there was more to come, did you feel guided through this process because of that feeling?
Yes, absolutely. I was aware of the human Lora, and then as myself as a soul. Myself as Lora on earth and myself as Lora being connected to God, the universe, and source. And I really would try to remain connected on the bigger picture. And what am I here to learn? I am a soul. Sean is a soul. We are both divine children of God. He made some choices that I am judging as really bad and really painful. I didn't make those choices. I am not damaged as a soul. I don't think he's damaged as a soul either. How can I continue to have love for this man who is the father of my children? If I can't have love, how can I have acceptance? If I can't have acceptance, how can I have peace? Because what would Jesus do? What would the ascended masters do? What would spirit do? If we're all love, how do I have love in this situation? Because otherwise, I am going to be bitter. I am going to be resentful. Yeah, and that's going to ruin my soul. That's going to damage me as a spirit. And I am not going to be damaged as a spirit. I'm not going to let myself do that.
Very good. So you felt all that, and it was I mean, when you look at it, Lora, looking back, because now it's 5 years later, you must realize, I mean, there are no coincidences. Things happen for an opportunity. I mean, you're in the pain, on your knees. I'm sure you thought of what's the point of being here on earth, though all those kinds of thoughts go through the mind. But
yes,
it became an opportunity for you to find out who Lora was, to be the truth of who you are, the authentic Lora, which would make you so much stronger, and then coming together stronger with the two of you. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Because there's so much pain and wounding on earth. And this is, again, like a razor's edge thing. My husband comes from a lot of trauma. It's not an excuse to hurt people. It's not an excuse to treat people bad, to cheat, to do any of that. But it is a reason. And when we can both look at the reason, the wounding, and then say, okay, what do I choose to do with this? You know, in his case, he could have chosen to continue to blame me for his pain. He could have chosen to not become accountable, to not reconnect with God. He could have made all of those choices, and he could have created a lot more damage. And I could have made a lot of hate-filled choices as well. And I could have created a lot more damage. And my initial instinct, again, was, you know, to hate, to be the victim, to fall in, this is horrible. And it was very soon after that where it was like, no, that's not who I am. And this is an opportunity to demonstrate what it's like to do hard things in the face of trauma or tragedy. And that's, to me, that's what spirituality is about. It's easy to trust spirit and trust God in the good times. That's easy. How do you do it in the tough times? And yeah, it makes you a much stronger person. It makes you a much more spiritually connected person, because I need to trust my intuition. I need to connect with God. And I need to do it in a big way now when I'm in a lot of pain, not just, oh, can I go manifest $50 in a parking space?
Right. So did John realize the root of why he cheated, or did you go to counseling to find that out? Were you both speaking clearly to each other, asking questions? Did he know the root of it?
No. Clarity takes time. Clarity takes patience. Clarity takes trust. Yeah. And originally, when I first found out, as you can imagine, things were not good. And I'm, sobbing on the floor and saying, how could you? And why did you do this? And the original responses would be, because of you. Because you don't make me happy, because you're horrible, because, all of that blame, all of that shame. And and it makes me cry, because one day we kept having conversations. And one day I called him and I said, I just need you to come over, and I just need you to comfort me. I mean, he's been my rock. He's my husband for, 23 years. He's the person that I've been would go to for comfort. And I said, as warped as it sounds, I need you to come over and comfort me. And he agreed. And he came over and comforted me. See, I'll cry talking about it again. And he looked at me and he said, I don't know why I did this, but I need you to know it wasn't you. It was me, and there's something really wrong with me, and I don't know what it is. And that was the turning point. Yeah, that was the turning point where it's like, oh, okay, now let's go to counseling. Now let's go, to a fair recovery. Now let's start digging in and figuring out, because you're right. Something is wrong with you. A normal person doesn't cheat with 5 different women over 15 years. That is not normal. There is something really wrong. So let's figure it out. And he's very spiritually connected too. He journals. He, prays. He's done counseling. He reads books. We sit and discuss. He, goes and sits on top of a mountain and hikes and meditates, and things start coming out. He's been doing, just even recently, he's been doing EMDR, and he's been having traumatic memories from his childhood resurface that he didn't even remember were there. So it's the proverbial, layers of the onion, and they keep coming out, and they keep coming out. And he's having a lot more understanding about who he is as a person and why this kind of escape, this kind of acting out was something that he went to.
I commend you, because many women, regardless how long they've been together, and even if it was a good marriage and they had children, that they would be so angry, they wouldn't be able to see beyond that and end the situation, and then live the rest of their life in wishing what could have been, what should have been, and all those things that we ask ourselves. But you stuck with it, so I commend you, and it shows that your heart and compassion is really strong, and that's what started the whole process of you wanting to stay together. Well, I'd love to hear your response to that, but we need to take our first break. Everyone, this is a live show. Bob is in the house. Lora is sharing everything she has, and she's now does coaching for women with bereavement. Not bereavement, that have been betrayed or infidelity and all of that, and that's what her work. And when I think of that, Lora, everything that you've been through has brought you to the true work that you needed to do in this lifetime. So everyone, stay with us. We'll be back in a moment.
Experience a different yet profound healing with Reconnective Healing. Includes yet expands beyond any and all known forms of energy healing. The Reconnective Healing spectrum is comprised of the full healing and evolutionary continuum of energy, light, and information. It allows for healings that are not just physical, not just mental, not just emotional, yet go beyond that to bring healing that includes the evolution of your very being and essence. Deborah Beauvais, trained and certified by world-renowned Dr. Eric Pearl, offers appointment hours at Seekonk Family Chiropractic in Seekonk, Massachusetts. For questions or to set up both distance or local sessions, call Deborah at 508-431-1959. Again, 508-431-1959. Or go to lovebyintuition.com. That's lovebyintuition.com.
Calling all authors. Have you been considering an audiobook? Well, look no further. Come take advantage of Dream Vision 7 Radio Network's unique in-house audiobook production, which includes benefits and bonuses from our radio station. Let our knowledgeable staff guide you to create the audiobook you've always dreamed of without breaking the bank. Check out our full one-stop service from A to Z, including the ACX process. Schedule a free consultation by calling 508-226-1723. That's 508-226-1723. Or go to dreamvision7radio.com.
After narrowly surviving the attack on Sandy Hook Elementary, first grade teacher Caitlin Roy DeBellis was left searching for answers that would never come. Eventually, she chose to focus on questions that could be answered. How do I make sure this tragedy doesn't define us? How do we get our control back? Those two questions led her to found the 501c3 nonprofit organization Classes for Classes. When gifts poured into their classroom, she decided they would help someone else by paying it forward and being kind. This developed into a social network which allows K through 8 classrooms to connect so that every student in the United States can learn these crucial lessons. Classes for Classes' mission is to build students' social emotional intelligence by connecting them to care. All C4C projects are crowdfunded. Any teacher in the U.S. can visit classesforclasses.org. That's classes, the number 4, classes.org. Sign up today.
Delight your kids with an enchanting journey by reading the Paper Doll Kids children's book by Deborah Beauvais and Janine Sullivan. There's even a catchy tune, Kids for Love Song, produced by Bob Sherwood and sung by kids just like yours. The story weaves around 7 paper dolls flying around the world doing good deeds as they bring important attention to our endangered animal friends. There's even a magical ring with a universal message. Kids become interested in service projects, action through compassion, and planting seeds that nurture positive change. The Paper Doll Kids and Kids for Love Song are a production of the Kids for Love Project. Get the book now on Amazon Kindle and the song on CD Baby or iTunes.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
And welcome back. We're talking with Lora Cheadle. She is a former attorney, a coach for women that have been betrayed or experienced infidelity. She has a book. It's called Flaunt. Drop your cover and reveal your smart, sexy, and spiritual self. Build rock-solid self-worth while finding freedom and fun. And so you can get that book on Amazon, on her website, or anywhere you buy books. You also can get in touch with her if you would like to know more. She's always giving extras out for all her services that she offers. So check out her site. It's LoraCheadle.com. Cheadle is C as in candy, H-E-A-D as in dog, L as in love, E as in egg. Lora, and Lora is L-O-R-A, Cheadle.com. So we're back from the break. Would you like to reply or have something on your mind from what we were saying as before the break?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for acknowledging me and for seeing me in that. That is meaningful. And what I also wanted to add on to that is sometimes people will say to me in a cynical way, like, yeah, why did you really stay? And truly, I really stayed because it felt right. And I do want to say that I know each situation is different and that we're each guided to do something different. And if you're in an unsafe situation and your heart is telling you to leave, listen to your heart, listen to your intuition. And if there's something inside of you, like there was for me, that said, this story is not done. There's way more to this. Trust that too. You know, people are not in your situation. People do not know what it feels like to be inside of your body and your heart and your mind. And trust yourself. Be brave and trust yourself, because if you've got a knowing, that knowing is leading to something.
Mm-hmm. Very good. And you are so welcome and also deserving, Lora, for all that you are and what you've experienced and how you've handled it with grace and professionalism. I think it amazes me that you have come this far. And then yet, on the other side of the coin, this was to be. And if you would have walked away, or if Sean decided not to come over and comfort you, then look what you would have lost. Look what you could have created, what you have created, and you would have missed that. And I think it's so important that you're saying, listen to yourself, listen to your gut, your intuition, any of the messages that we receive through reading or messages, just what the universe gives. Those are the things that are so important, to listen to yourself and make your choices, not someone else's. And for those that may be, negative or or derogatory against anything that you're doing, that's not about you, it's about them. And it's all about focusing on your relationship because they're human. And they're just judging and all that comes with that. It's the ego driving them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. Thank you.
You're welcome. When did you tell the boys? Was it early on, and were you both there talking with them, and how did they react?
That's been another interesting journey. I wish I could say that we handled it better than we did. Here's what happened. I found out on a Friday morning, and my kids were in high school and college at the time. And Sean left. He left. And then it's funny to say, I was about to teach a fitness class, and I just went and I taught my class. It was like I was on this, I had this complete collapse, and then I looked at the clock, and I'm like, oh, I have to go teach this class. And I went and taught this class just like nothing had happened, and I came home and collapsed again. And then, and then I thought, oh my gosh, it's time to pick up my son from school, and his dad threw stuff in boxes and left. I have to address this. So I called Sean, and again, we were not communicating well at that time because we were in this complete state of trauma. And I said, what am I supposed to do with the kids? And he said, I already told everybody. And I said, you already told everybody? And he said, I told everybody everything. And then we hung up. Well, in my mind, I told everybody everything means I told everybody everything. In his mind, again, because he's in a state of shock, I'm in a state of shock, it meant something totally different. So when my youngest came home, I said, you know what's going on then? And he's like, what do you mean what's going on? And I just blurted it out. Yeah. And then he looked completely shocked, and he said, we need to call Connor, my oldest son. And I'm like, yep, we do. And same thing, I just blurted it out. Well, now since Dad's left me, and since he's cheated, and blah, 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 and we need to figure it out. And just totally this weird mix of being very matter-of-fact and being in huge pain and not knowing what to say. And then I called my parents, and I was like, well, this is what's happened, blah, 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 blah. And it wasn't until later that evening that Sean and I communicated again, and he's like, I didn't tell them that. I told them that I was leaving the house for a while. We had some things to figure out. And I was like, oh, that's not what I thought. And I felt horrible. Fortunately, it was out there. The boys were older. It's still a horrible shock. I do not recommend just dropping bombs like that, but I thought the bomb had already been dropped. Fortunately and interestingly, the boys both came home that weekend, and we had some really good conversations, and they asked some questions, and they also told me there are certain things that they just realized they're like, this is not about us. And it's like, nope, it's not about you. And there were some things where they said they don't want to know things. I'm like, that's fine. You don't need to know things. But here's the only thing you need to know. We both love you. Everybody loves you. You're going to be taken care of. You're going to have you're still going to go to college. You're still going to go to high school. Nothing is really going to change in your world. We just need to figure some things out.
And I think that is perfect that you conveyed that.
Exactly. In hindsight, that's what I wish I could have conveyed early on. But like I said, it was a mess. Emotions run high. I'm in a state of shock and trauma. So no, the initial telling did not go well. What's been interesting, though, is the way their relationship with Sean has deepened, the way their understanding of relationships has grown, their integrity around now friends who are, cheating on girlfriends and boyfriends. they have really stepped into a different and a very mature kind of power around relationships and what it means to be authentic and what it means to communicate and how to express and get your needs met and how to solve problems. So
Wow.
in a weird way, it was a very good learning opportunity for both of them.
I agree. And they're right at the age where they can, well, first of all, I have to say that they both knew that they were loved. And that makes a huge difference. If it was a different environment, then it might be a different outcome. But because you loved them and you've had such a strong relationship with them, both you and Sean, that they were safe in that respect. And now what you have created for them is open eyes and for them to make their own decisions when their time comes up, but they're wiser because you were open and explained it. You didn't hide it. You didn't try, make it into something different because you didn't want to hurt their feelings or you were afraid to say the wrong thing. We all say things that maybe aren't the greatest. I've done that too, and then I think, I could have done better. But it all came out fine because you came from a place of love, and that is the most important piece. So again, I commend both of you for doing such a good job with these boys because they're going to go on and have healthy relationships because of it. Do you agree with that, Lora?
I absolutely agree with that. And this has also turned into kind of a family joke. And yes, this is some dark humor here, but sometimes when the boys have made a mistake, whether it's a school-related mistake or a friend-related mistake or just whatever it is, and they'll talk about it and they'll say, I've made this mistake, I have to figure it out. And the family joke kind of has been like, Sean will say, well, nobody's mistake is ever going to be as big as my mistake, and we recovered from that, so okay, what is it? And that's powerful. And I mean, yes, that's kind of a sick, twisted joke, but it's also true. We all fall. We all make horrendous mistakes. And of course we want to try not to make mistakes. Of course we want to do a better job with things. And yet at the same time, we can recover. There is grace. And to me and to us, especially within a family, if somebody is honestly seeking redemption, becoming accountable, the most powerful thing we can do is offer some grace and understanding so we can move forward. Because if every single mistake I made, I was cut off at the knees, I wouldn't have gone very far. And none of us would. We all need that. We all need that acceptance and grace and compassion and love.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So one of the questions or thoughts I had, did the pandemic help your relationship with Sean once you decided? And let me ask you this too, how soon after everything was shared openly of what was happening in the last 23 years, how soon did you both come to a place of the decision to continue your relationship and move through it?
Yeah. So much to say on this. First of all, the position that we are at with our relationship, and this might sound weird, but I do believe that it's healthy, is we are committed to each other as long as we are each committed to our own growth and to the growth of the relationship. And, we talk about that. And it's not like it's a threat that, one day I'm going to leave you or anything like that. But we're also very aware that we don't need to be together. We are choosing to be together, and we are choosing to support each other in our individual and collective growth and development. And if ever it doesn't feel like that's the right place for either of us to be, then we are okay to separate, and we'll do that with honor and respect and, love. So that's that first piece. Second piece, I think the pandemic actually was really good for us because I found out in 2018, and he moved out, and he moved out for about 3 months. And during those 3 months, we communicated, we texted incessantly because texting was a safer way to communicate, because I wouldn't be, stepping on his words or attacking, and we could look at things and we could process it, and then we could, we could move slowly that way. So we spent a lot of time communicating around that. Then we both did marriage counseling, and we did affair recovery, and we did several other different, spiritual growth things. And we just kept feeling this pull and this draw for more and more and more time together, because we had been together for a long time. We, dated for a long time before we got married, and it was like, we just need to start fresh, and we need to unwind all of these years and figure things out. So then when the pandemic came and it was we're stuck inside together, it was glorious, because we could go back to, we met in law school. So it's like we could kind of go back to the days of, we're having breakfast together, and, now we each work, and then we come back together and we have lunch together, and then we work side by side and we have dinner together and we take a walk. So it really simplified and reconnected us. And it's been really, really good for us. And the more we're together, the more we continue to want to be together, because we enjoy each other's company. And there's something really just grounding and simple about that.
Yes. I mean, it's profound yet simple.
Yeah.
It's exciting to hear. And the reason I'm saying that is it gives hope to all the people out there that have experienced infidelity and have wondered what choice should they make and what would it look like on the other side, and take the easy way out. Not that it's easy, but take the way where you just walk away and try to start another relationship without really knowing what happened. So again, I commend you. If I was to model someone that came through this wonderfully, and I get it, where any kind of relationship, you're always going to have trials and tribulations, ebbs and flows. It's just life on earth. It's part of the whole thing. Yes. But when you have that solid connection and the love, and you're both agreeing that you want to grow together, then it's great. So I have to ask, how is your relationship now, 5 years later? How does it differ than previously?
Yeah, it's quite different.
And I'm sorry, Lora, to interject. We need to take a break. We're already a minute over. I'm with you. I'm feeling it. All right, everyone, we'll be back in a moment.
Take a journey to a place of the divine love within with Deborah Beauvais on the Love by Intuition Show, Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. Eastern. Our message is love in the purest form. The light within us all is a guide to recall our beginning, to learn to love self and humankind, and to feel the higher power of our own divinity. To attract love, one needs to be love. Come join us and step into this glorious vibration called love.
Delight your kids with an enchanting journey by reading the Paper Doll Kids Children's Book by Deborah Beauvais and Janine Sullivan. There's even a catchy tune, Kids for Love Song, produced by Bob Sherwood and sung by kids just like yours. The story weaves around 7 paper dolls flying around the world doing good deeds as they bring important attention to our endangered animal friends. There's even a magical ring with a universal message. Kids become interested in service projects, action through compassion, and planting seeds that nurture positive change. The Paper Doll Kids and Kids for Love Song are a production of the Kids for Love Project. Get the book now on Amazon Kindle and the song on CD Baby or iTunes.
Are miracles real? Can you move from mayhem to miracles? 30 prominent authors say yes as they share their high fives and down lows of challenges, abuse, addiction, and love. Experience hope, the magic elixir of miracles, through the personal stories of New York Times bestselling authors James Redfield, Dr. Bernie Siegel, Sister Jenna, Reverend Temple Hayes, and many more. If you like bestsellers, chaos to clarity, and crappy to happy, you'll love Crying and Laughing Through Mayhem to Miracles. Sacred Stories of Transformational Hope. Available now on Amazon and in bookstores worldwide.
It's a child's job to play, to learn, and to have fun. It's an adult's job to keep them safe. Did you know that 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys will be sexually abused before the age of 18? Every day, families enter the Children's Advocacy Center because a child's courage to tell someone what happened to them. Keeping our children safe starts with a conversation. This is Michelle Aranger, Executive Director of the Children's Advocacy Center. Learn more on how to keep your child safe. Visit cacofbc.org. This message made possible by the Fall River Rotary Club.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
And we are back, and over to you, Lora.
Yes, the difference between our relationship, there's a couple of things. First of all, we treat each other with a little bit more care, and life is a little bit slow. Before all of this happened, we, were raising kids, the full-fledged family life, finances, in-laws, kids, school, work, just go, 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 go. And yes, although we had moments of connection, although we had vacations and anniversaries and all of that stuff, it was still a little bit more rushed, and we didn't treat each other with the amount of care that we do now. Because now, after we really recognize, I think, the preciousness of each other and the sacredness of relationships. So I think that's the first difference. The second difference, again, speaking for me, not that I was a bad partner. I don't think I was a bad partner. But as a partner, my needs focused on, we got to get the dishes done, who's going to pick up the kids, how is this going to work, I'm exhausted, are you going to clean this up for me? I was just more task-oriented. Mm-hmm. And after this, after I've learned about Sean's tenderness inside, the pain of his childhood trauma, his insecurities, it's heightened my awareness of him as a vulnerable human who hurts. And my needs have more shifted from how can I get my needs met and how can I get the needs of the house taken care of to how can I better partner this beautiful human. Because this beautiful human has been through a lot. And it's not about me sacrificing myself for him, but how can I partner him? And then how can I better communicate to him how he can partner me? Not, you better do this to me, but let me communicate to you what I need and let me do my part to partner you. So it's flowering, it's expansive, it's more real and connected. It's not the stereotypical, a wife should do this and a husband should do this, but it's how can I meet your needs and here's what you can do to meet mine. And it's that honesty and clarity and unconditional love and acceptance for each other.
Mm-hmm. Wow. What wisdom you have, Lora, through this. The insight and the understanding, and it's just incredible. That is, which brings me to say, if anyone is out there listening, whether it's tonight during the live show or when it gets rebroadcast or when it's streamed here, there, everywhere, or archived when you can just listen on demand. If you're out there, listen to what Lora is saying because it's such wisdom that you can apply to your own life. And while we're doing that, why don't I ask you, Lora, for that person that's sitting out there and maybe they're at the beginning of the process. Maybe they decided to stay, but they're still doubting themselves, or they're confused, and they're all the variables that come to live and journey through this. What would you say to them?
I would say to just slow down and to breathe, to move back into your heart. Yes, it's very painful. Yes, your heart has been shattered, and it's okay. It doesn't matter how this journey ends or what transpires. Just know that there is another side to the journey, and it's up to you to choose what that other side looks like. You can't control another person, but you can choose if you are going to be deeper, wider, more lovely and expansive on the other side, and you can also choose to be bitter and hardened on the other side. And it doesn't matter what anybody else chooses. You have the power of choice for you, and just go slow and breathe and listen and let love guide you and let your intuition guide you. And of course, when you're getting help from other people, reach out to the people who are lights. If you reach out to somebody who is bitter and hate-filled, they will teach you how to be bitter and hate-filled. If you reach out to somebody who is love and connected and wise, you will become love and connected and wise. So choose your guides wisely.
That is true. So why don't you share some of the offerings that you do when you're coaching, and how they can get in touch with you, anything different than your website?
Yeah, that would be lovely. If you'd like, right now, go to betrayalrecoveryguide.com and download your copy of my Sparkle After Betrayal Recovery Guide. It's just a simple 3-step guide that will give you 3 things to think about and walk you through 3 things on these first steps of betrayal recovery. If you do choose to connect and to coach with me, I would love it. We can get together on Zoom and we can find out if we're a good fit. But the way I work is I like to work with people very intimately. When I coach with you, you have 24/7 access to me on Voxer because I want you to talk. I want you to speak the truth. I want you to speak your pain. And I want to be the one that can reflect that back to you with care, with compassion, with love. We get together and we coach once a month. You get a customized hypnotherapy session every month, and you get weekly emails that will inspire you to go deep and to get to know yourself so you're more comfortable and confident showing yourself. And when you go to betrayalrecoveryguide.com and download that guide, you will also have the ability to contact me there, or you can reach out through this show or find me across any social media channels, and we can schedule a time just to get together and talk. There's no pressure. Just talk about you and your desires for the future.
Perfect. So what I'm liking to ask these days, Lora, is
yes.
How do you see the world today?
I see the world on the cusp of unity. I see the world, I see betrayal all over. I see betrayal in our political systems, in our religious institutions, in society. And I see us on the cusp of healing from that and on the cusp of unity. And I do think it is an individual choice, but I think one at a time we are all choosing to unite. We are all choosing to own our own stuff, to make amends, to grow up, and to find our way back home to love. And I know things sometimes look scattered, but that's part of the healing process. There were times when in my healing journey where it looked much messier than I had ever hoped, and that's okay. It's all part of the journey. Just keep going.
Right. And you make a good point. It's okay. Because a lot of times there isn't a right or wrong or this or that. It's just okay where you are now and traveling through it step by step and inch by inch, and you take your time. There's no rush. I don't believe there's any rush to it with anything that someone is working through. It's an opportunity for soul growth, and this soul growth spurts everywhere. You think you're all set, and then another one comes, but that's all part of life on Earth. And just look at everything as opportunities. Well, I want to, it's been an honor to have you on the show, Lora, and I'm so glad that I felt strongly, I'm going to have Lora on the show. I think you came years back. I want to congratulate you that you have been with us for 7 years and have had your show podcast. And again, for anyone that is listening now or beyond, it's Flaunt. Find your sparkle and create a life you love after infidelity or betrayal. It's every Wednesday, 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You can get in touch with Lora by going on her site. It's Lora, Lora, Cheadle, C as in candy, H as in happy, EAD as in dog, LE.com. So, and you know what, everything that we've shared and everything that you have shared is perfect as the title, Trusting Yourself and Trusting Spirit. And, wow, you have come it's phenomenal. So I thank you for having such a insightful life.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor.
You're welcome, Lora. Until we connect again, everyone out there, share the show, listen to it again, go on Lora's site, buy the book as a gift, and connect with her because she has such wisdom. She's living it, and she has come out of it blossoming. So check that out. Until we get together in love and working within, au revoir.
Are you seeking a clearer path to love? Then tune in to the Love by Intuition show next week. All designed to your highest good. To contact Deborah Beauvais, owner of Empowered Connections, call her at 508-226-1723. That's 508-226-1723. Or link on to lovebyintuition.com. Remember, we are all one, and we are all part of the miracle of love.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.